I don't even know how I'm going to talk about this. It's just not an easy subject. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Denae. I'm a stay-at-home mom to our 2.5-year-old little boy named Gunner. My husband and I are currently trying to conceive baby number 2. If you are new to my channel, then you don't know, we went through years of fertility treatments to get pregnant with our son and have been trying to get pregnant again on our own for not quite a year, but just have not had any luck with that and are now embarking on another round of fertility treatments to try to have another baby. I have been sharing this journey with you guys just because this was something that I felt like was missing when I was going through this years ago. A lot of people shared their, I guess, experience or that they were going through fertility treatments, but nobody really showed like the details of it, you know, the tests and the doctor's visits and the medication and the shots and the highs and the lows and the emotions and like everything with it. So that was something that I really wanted to do with this journey for us. I do feel like more and more people are starting to open up about it, but I still feel like there are a lot of things that are not talked about or said or shown. And I really just want to be as transparent as possible. I know that so many of you have reached out to me personally, or privately I should say, and have just thanked me for sharing this process. Some of you also have said, yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I wish that there had been something to watch or to look at when I was going through it. Some of you have said, I'm in the process or getting ready to go through it. So this is great to just kind of know what to expect. And then I've also had people reach out and saying that they're appreciative that I'm sharing this because if they want to have any more children, this is the road that they're going to have to go down and take. And this is kind of giving them an idea as to whether that is something they even want to consider. So I'm happy to be doing this. While it's not an ideal way to grow our family and get pregnant, I feel like we're going through this for a reason. I feel like God put this on our hearts to go through again because He knows that I'm going to share it with you. One of the questions that I've been getting a lot is just how much it costs. And this was something that I really debated on whether or not I wanted to talk about. I know that so many of us, probably everyone at some point in their life has heard that fertility treatments are expensive, and they are. I didn't know if I really wanted to share that information because, you know, there are things that you just don't talk about. Money, politics, and religion. And we're private people, despite having a YouTube channel and being on social media and putting a lot of our information out there, we're still very private about some of the things that we choose to share with the world. But if I'm going to be transparent with this process, I really feel like I need to be as transparent as possible and sharing everything. And that does include the financial aspect of this. So I am going to share with you the costs associated on our end to go through this next round of treatments. Keep in mind, this is not going to be a cookie cutter situation for everyone. Every person's experience and situation is going to be different. You may be going through IVF just like I'm going through IVF, but our protocols may be completely different from each other. In fact, I was recently chatting with one of my sorority sisters because she just did another round. Even though we were going through the exact same thing, we were talking and our protocols are completely different from each other. So they're going to vary. And even just from practice to practice and state to state. I'm in Georgia and our facility that we go through is out of Atlanta. So the costs associated for us might be completely different than someone, say, in California or, you know, Montana or, you know, somewhere like that. So you just never know. But this is gonna hopefully at least give you like a generalized idea so you kind of know what to expect, because unfortunately, most people that go through some sort of fertility treatments are usually 100% out of pocket. There are not many insurance plans that offer fertility coverage, and the ones that do don't offer 100% coverage. It's usually very minimal, and very, very rarely will they cover the medications, which is so sad because it is such a widespread issue all over the country, all over the world, and it's really unfortunate. I can't speak to any other country, but just for our country here in the US, it's so unfortunate that it's not considered like an actual normal course of treatment to have regular coverage for. Like, it's just mind-blowing to me, and I wish that I was in a position of like a celebrity or huge influencer to where I could try to make a change or make a difference to push for insurance companies to cover this, because it is so ridiculously expensive. And for families like us who have to go through multiple rounds, it is very costly. So I'm gonna back up just a little bit and just kind of share with you from the beginning of how we got to where we are here. So when we first started going through fertility treatments, both my husband and I were working, but we did not have insurance coverage that helped at all with our treatment. So we were 100% out of pocket. We initially started, we did 2 rounds of Clomid, and those did not work. So then we moved to IUI, and we did 2 rounds of that. Both were unsuccessful. I'd had some issues my entire life with my, just my period and just some other things that were going on. So there was concern that there might be endometriosis. I had suspected that for years, actually. And so the next step for us was to either have like the laparoscopic surgery to see if I have endometriosis and then going from there, or we just bypass that altogether and go straight to IVF. We decided to do the laparoscopic surgery. I did have between a stage 1 and a stage 2 of endometriosis. They went in, removed all of that, and then it was decision time on whether we wanted to go back to IUI or we wanted to just go straight to IVF. And we decided to go to IVF. At that point, I had left my previous employer and then took on a new position. And that employer offered insurance with a company that actually offered fertility coverage. So I jumped on that opportunity and I took insurance coverage just on myself through my company. So I also had coverage through my husband, but then I also had an additional coverage through my employer so that I could get some assistance with the fertility treatments. They only cover 20%. And I know I shouldn't say only because I'm very thankful just to have that little bit of coverage, but we were still 80% out of pocket for the treatments, and it did not cover a dime of the medication. So we were 100% out of pocket with medications, and the meds are very, very expensive. So our plan was to go through IVF. Of course, you have to go through the whole like pre-authorization process with the insurance company. We did that, and basically the insurance company came back and said, we are not going to approve you for IVF because you need to have 6 failed attempts of IUI, and we had only had 2. I was so devastated because I was already like geared up and excited to do IVF, and then I'm being told no. And it was just like, you know, every time I got a no or a negative pregnancy test, it was just a big slap in the face. So I was like, great. So now I have to go through 4 more big slaps in the face just to get to a point where we might have a little bit of hope to get pregnant. So we swallowed our pride and we did 4 more rounds of IUI, none of which worked. And then we finally got approval to do IVF. Thankfully, the insurance covered, you know, part of the IUI, but again, we already have, like, we're already paying 80% of the IUIs, so that's taking away money for us to put towards IVF, which it's just mind-boggling to me. Like, I just don't even understand, like, the people that are in the insurance world, like how do you even fathom that that's like an okay thing to do to someone who's already been on this emotional roller coaster, who's already had negative results from doing these things, and now you're gonna make them go back through it again 4 more times just so they can hopefully get a positive result from IVF? Like, I just don't even get it. But anyways, that's like a whole other subject that I could totally get on. But anyways, we finally got approval to do IVF, and we did 1 fresh cycle right away, which was negative. And then we immediately went back to doing another round, and we did our first frozen cycle or transfer. And that was when we got pregnant with our son, Gunner. So we currently have 4 embryos left, and we are now going to be going back through that process of doing another frozen transfer. So I'm going to give you the costs associated with doing a frozen transfer. Obviously, doing your first round of IVF where they go in and they do the egg retrieval, and if you do a fresh cycle transfer, that is going to be a lot more costly. That is probably going to be the most costly thing you can do. Just because there's a lot more involved in it. It's more invasive, there's more medications involved, they're actually putting you out to do the egg retrieval. So there's a lot more to it, but this is just gonna kind of give you an idea of what the costs associated with it are. A lot of the medications are gonna be the same. Like, these are the same medications that I took when I did our fresh cycle. So, you know, that aspect of it is gonna be the same. So hopefully this just kind of gives you an idea. So to do a frozen embryo transfer for us, it is going to be $1,500. That covers the transfer and everything that's associated with it. The medications, however, are going to be separate, and your medications are going to vary. Again, it's going to depend on what medications you're actually doing, how long you have to do them, what pharmacy you go through. So you do have to get your medications through a specialty pharmacy. And your doctor's office typically will give you a list of places that you can go through. So one of my nurses had said, you know, these are the pharmacies that you can order from. So I actually reached out to the pharmacies after they gave me what my protocol is going to be, and I wanted to call and find out how much the medications were going to be, because again, we are out of pocket with this. After I had Gunner, I did not return back to work. So I no longer have that insurance coverage to assist us with fertility treatments now. So we are, again, 100% out of pocket, which is fine. The only downside is that we have completely depleted our savings that we had from going through it for years before. We went through a total of, technically 10 treatments if you count the 2 rounds of Clomid. So we went through 10 treatments almost in 5 years. So that was a lot of money. And so now it's like, you know, now that I'm not working, yes, we do okay financially. Like, we're very blessed for me to be able to stay at home, but we don't have a savings account built up. I don't have a ton of money coming in now from YouTube. I'm just now like starting to pick up some momentum and bringing in money from doing social media and YouTube and all of that. So we're nowhere near where we were before with having a full salary coming in for me. So let me get into the nitty-gritty costs of the medication. So for me, to start our treatments, I will initially be on Lupron, which is just a small injection that I do in my belly. For that, it is $192 for the Lupron kit. So that comes with the needles and the medication and all of that. The next medication that I'm going to be on is Vivel patches, which are estrogen patches. And I am going to need 42 of those patches. They come in packs of 8, and they're $82 per pack of 8. And I need 6 of those total. So that is going to be $492. Now, the one thing that I will say is Walgreens is really good about trying to work with you and finding like coupons and deals and things that they can do to help you with the cost, because they know that it's expensive. So they did tell me that the Vivel patches could be covered through GoodRx for much less. So $4.92 would be the maximum that we would pay for that. So I don't know what the discount would be on that, but she said it's a pretty significant savings if they can get it through the GoodRx company. And then the last thing that I will be on, which is the worst out of all of them, is the progesterone in sesame oil. That is the big mamma jamma shot that I have to do in my butt. It's very painful. It's a big needle. It's very thick. And that is the shot that you do leading up to your transfer, after your transfer, and pretty much almost through your entire first trimester. So that is the one that's like, oh, that's the one that I don't look forward to. But that one is $42.50 per vial. I think I need 4 vials of that. But anyways, so that brings my medication total to $1,344. That's a lot of money for medications. That's a lot of money. That doesn't even include like your copay for doctor's visits and things like that. So that on top of the $1,500 for the actual transfer, we are sitting just under $3,000 to do one frozen transfer. So hopefully that kind of gives you a generalized idea of what the costs are associated with that. As always, please leave any comments or questions that you have down below. Again, I'm always open to speaking with you privately. A lot of you have DM'd me on Instagram. Some of you have private messaged me on Facebook, and I've even gotten some emails from some of you. I accept all of those forms of communication. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions, or just to say, hey girl, I get it. I went through it too. So totally happy. I love connecting with other TTC mamas and other mamas who've gone through fertility treatments. It's kind of just nice to build those connections and relationships with other people because you can relate to them. So yeah, I hope that you got a little something out of this video. I know that this isn't going to be for everyone, but if you are considering going through it, or you're in the process of going through it, or thinking about it, or whatever, hopefully this helps you a little bit in kind of pushing you in whatever direction you need to be going in. So if you are new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I do share motherhood and lifestyle content. I aim to upload Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Sometimes it doesn't always happen that way, but I do usually get at least 2 videos up per week. So I would love it if you would subscribe, join my little family here, and give this video a like if you did find it to be helpful, and just share it with other people. Share it with your friends, your family, or whoever you think might find it to be helpful and useful. So thank you guys so much for sharing in your time with me. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I am sending lots of well wishes and many prayers and blessings to you if you are also trying to conceive and or going through an infertility journey. So thank you guys so much. I will see you in my next video. Bye.